From the center of the galaxy, this is Star Wars Show and Tell. I am Napzok.
And I am Joseph Scrimshaw.
We are recording here through the power of StreamYard. And Joseph, we have been doing this now for 4 episodes, having a lot of fun, sharing things from our own Star Wars collection. We had Jennifer Landa on. We definitely know we want to have guests. Number one, you and I might, believe it or not, one day run out of Star Wars items to share. We'll be a while. But we also love learning from other people's collections what they love, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Pretty soon I'll be going into my wife's sock drawer, and then that's going to get an extra interesting show and tell.
Grace does have some Baby Yoda socks that I do enjoy. All right, let's bring in our guest, our special guest. He, at one point, and still is, our unofficial ForceCenter toy expert. Please welcome to the show the wonderful Mike Black.
What's up?
Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing?
We're
good.
Doing great, man.
Good.
How are you holding up? How are you doing, Star Wars fan?
I am on a gravy train with biscuit wheels. I'm getting to play video games and watch TV all day and just wait for checks. It's a wonderful time. I know it's supposed to be terrible, but I'm having the time of my life.
It is pretty amazing that it is absolutely a terrible time, in that as kids, when you fantasize like, man, there might be a disaster and you're going to have to step up. You have to step up by sitting down and playing a video game for 8 hours. That's what you need to do to save someone else's life.
Exactly how it is. No Trans Am, no boomerang, none of that stuff. None of the stuff I was prepping for happened. It's just staying at home and watching movies about people with Trans Ams and boomerangs.
As always, Mike brings the funny and the truth and the toys. Mike, you are at least in my world, a world-renowned toy collector. Your Instagram feed's always been great follow for toy reveals, especially if you're a He-Man fan, Star Wars fan, and so much more. So it just is fitting that we had Jennifer Landa on, but that's part of the team. To go a little bit outside and bring in a guest, it had to be you first, my friend. It had.
Thanks. I'm really honored by that, you guys. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, we are, because we don't know. We always surprise each other with our reveals. So let's dive right into it, Mike. And you have some honorable mention Star Wars show and tell items you want to share with us here today.
Yeah, my honorable mention, we'll start with here, Baby Yoda from the Star Wars Black series. Yeah. He's great. He comes with the little toad, a bone broth bowl, the control ball. Unfortunately, he cannot hold any of those things. They give you a little plastic thing to keep track of them so you don't lose them, but he is unable to hold a single one of his accessories. But I noticed he's so small that he seems even in scale with this 3 3/4 figure.
Oh yeah.
So there's a point where he's so small that it just doesn't matter. He'll fit with pretty much any size. So yeah, that's him out of the package with the Mandalorian. And so that's my honorable mention one.
That's great. Did you have any issues picking that up? I know, Joseph, you have that item as well, right? And it was a long lead time for delivery. Or how did you acquire that, Mike?
Yeah, I got it from Amazon, and then out of paranoia, I did a backup order at another place called megalopolis.com. And they got it to me first for some reason. And when I saw the package, I was like, there's no way in hell anyone is ever finding this at retail, because the package is like 1.5 inches big, and some shoplifters just taking it. There's no way these are just staying on the shelves. It's the most popular character in the world in the most thievable package that has ever been devised.
Now, inconvenient theft size is a pretty great turn of phrase.
There's not room for a barcode on it. It's like people don't have a choice. They have to shoplift it. But so that's my my honorable mention.
Great. That's great. And Joseph, as we know, you have that one. Can you describe the emotional feeling of unwrapping that? I know you took it out of the package. What is the emotional feeling of releasing Baby Yoda from his cage?
Yeah, I haven't released him yet, so I'm really impressed to see that Mike is on top of the game. He's got one in the package, one side, and one out of the package. I'm taking him out of the package, but I have to kind of wait for the right mood. What was your experience freeing Baby Yoda from the box?
Well, I had to, the only tension that came was that the first one I got, the very first one that arrived at my door, was in a perfect mint condition museum quality package.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, I have to wait for the other one to come before I can open one, because this one is perfect.
Yeah.
That crashing sound was my glorious display of other items falling over. So minor technical difficulty, but I'll fix it. It's fine.
All right.
Everything's fine.
When that second one was coming, were you like, please be dinged, please be dinged, please be dinged?
Yes, that is exactly. And there was a nice Amazon hole in it, in the package, that had been like gnawed into it somehow. And there's no explanation. It was a hole like right in the center of the package. Like someone had drilled a little hole through the window. And I was totally happy about that.
I love who doesn't love a good Amazon gnaw hole?
Yeah.
That's a great honorable mention, Mike. I love the pack. It reminds me when they released the Black Series Porgs that are the tiny little. It's that same kind of thievable box, stealable. Box. So good. Any other honorable mentions there, Mike? Anything you want to fling up?
Oh, yeah. Where'd my flip button go? There we go. My favorite character in package in the original line was the Empire Strikes Back Bespin Han Solo. This is the new 40th anniversary Star Wars Black version of that packaging. He looks amazing in it. They did a tremendous job on the likeness and on his face. Now, they had released him about a year ago, and this is the standard version of him, but they also released a Comic-Con version. And I was not aware. I knew that it came with the Minoc. I knew that it came with the gas mask and a hydro spanner. Right. What I did not know is that behind this pillar, he came with an alternate Han Solo pointing hand that they hid. I had been campaigning for this forever. And they finally came with a Harrison Ford pointing hand. So that is my runner-up.
Oh, that's what you got to get, the family pointing hand. Oh man,
I can arrange that action.
Yeah. And then go ahead, Joseph.
Mike, I assume that you expertly posed Leia, and they did not make Leia with like separate a lean back offended posture?
Right. I posed her that way because that is exactly how she should look when saying she would rather kiss a Wookiee.
Oh man,
beautiful.
And there's a Minoc here.
That's great.
And up here I have my whole packaged section and stuff.
Look at
so that's pretty much the whole display.
And Mike, they just released that corridor scene, right? It's a Black Series set. I saw the packaging looks great of them kind of yelling at you, right?
Yeah. Now that one comes with a Hoth version of Han Solo, and he's only slightly different than the one that came out with the Tauntaun. I think he has cloth scarf. Right. I didn't set that one up today because I didn't know how much you guys wanted, frankly. And but I have all these other ones in the back, and if you can see in the corner there, I'm glad they used Sand People instead of Tusken Raider, because I don't think that offends anyone or anything. Okay, maybe it does. It offends some people.
I love. We got some puppet theater today. This has been wonderful. You're bringing everything we wanted to the show. Great stuff there. Now Joseph and I are going to run through some of our selections. We got one each today. Joseph, I'll let you go. My second, because mine I think's a tinier little one here. But it's so funny you mentioned Hoth Han, Mike, because that's what I'm bringing in here today. Ooh. I've got my my Hasbro Galactic Hero Han on the Tauntaun figure.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Love this line. It is so comical. It is so just silly, but that's a great Tauntaun. I'm gonna do a switch here, but to get a little more detail on it. And this line gave me one of my favorite little terms to describe. They also released the Stomping Wampa figure set. And the Stomping Wampas has been my fantasy baseball team for about 10 years or so. I just have always loved that term, and it's because this set is so geared for the kids. This is a kid set here. It's just over the top. It's exaggerated. They released a lot of little figures with these little ships. And then that to me just captures the spirit. I want my Black Series figures. I have the Black Series Han you mentioned with the Tauntaun. I have that in set, and there's a lot of different versions of Han on the Tauntaun. You could do a whole collection of them, but this one just really captures the spirit of what's going on there. So I'm sorry for a little.
Now, is that one wearing a blue jacket or a brown jacket?
It is
debated color.
Yes, it is a little brown. He's like the Kenner rebel snow officers there, snow troopers. Yeah. So anyway,
now, I doubt because it's such a kid's toy.
Yeah,
it doesn't have the openable chest cavity on the Tauntaun, does it?
It does
the
not.
Old Kenner one had.
Yeah, little leg movement here, which I don't know if that leads to anything. Like I don't even know why, because you can't move it more than that. But and they're very much.
I wonder if
Chihuahua leg.
He's one of those toys that when you press down on him, he hops, kind of.
The hands move. There's some articulation in the shoulders there,
nice.
For what's going on there. So yeah, a little bit there. Anyways,
that's a very cool piece. If you're just gonna have like one piece for your desk or something,
yes,
that's a perfect thing to have.
I did. It's in my house now, obviously, but this was one of those items that I had, whether I was a director of security or a producer at Screen Junkies or whatever I was at Collider. This was on my desk. You're right.
Yeah, that says exactly what you want to say. And I love what is it? The Wampa Stompa thing?
The Stompin' Wampa set. And this was part of a bigger version of it, but the Star Wars Galactic Heroes Stomping Wampa playset. And it is with no G on that stomping. It's a Stompin' Wampa. That's why I love that line.
That's a deep cut to the old video game, Shadows of the Empire.
Right.
The God code on that game was Wampa Stompa. And you were unkillable, had all the weapons and everything like that.
It all comes together. There's layers in Star Wars. It's layers. So that is my choice this week. Han on a Tauntaun, part of the Hasbro Galactic Hero line. I recommend, if you can track these down, folks, grab them for yourself and for your children. That is my choice. Joseph, what do you got in your collection today?
Well, I had to do a toy because Mike is here, and I looked around at my toys. A lot I wanted to share, but I had to go old school, and this one grabbed me. I don't have a lot of my old Kenner figures here. They're mostly in storage in my old home state of Minnesota, but the last time I was there, I grabbed a handful of just like, I can only take a few and like wrap them in napkins from TGI Fridays where I've been to with my family and say, I got to keep them safe on the airplane. And it's like, and I was surprised by the figures that made me go, I think I could take 5. Who needs to come? And this figure emerged victorious. It is little tiny Anakin Skywalker. Look at him there. Oh, his face is a little blurry there, but you can see him. So this was, of course, back in the day, Return of the Jedi comes out. We discover that there is indeed an old man with kind eyes under the mask of Vader. And in this action figure was Send Away, at least when I got him. And he was, I think, I've made jokes about action figures who weren't very exciting, like Lobot or whatever, the Cloud Car Pilot. But this was the first action figure that literally had almost no action to him.
Right.
He can move.
Very little screen time.
Yep. You can make him sit down, but why would you? Because he is literally just standing there. He's not even in his ghostly form. This is literally like a Vader what if. What if he survived and looked vaguely like Jack Lemmon?
Yes.
But with Jedi robes. So I always liked him. I liked the happiness that that's who Anakin could have been. And now he's just such a fascinating character in that he looks older than Vader actually was when he died by canon years. And of course, totally removed from the actual film in the new special edition. So not only was this an action figure of a ghost back in the day, it is now even more of a ghost of an old edition of Star Wars.
I love that.
Well, you know,
Yeah.
next year they're doing a mail away of the PA who had to tell him that he's going to be removed from the film and replaced by Hayden Christensen.
I love too, Joseph. You're touching on something here. We talk about the different entry points into Star Wars for different generations. You know, this is well known and everything, but imagine if you just show this figure to someone and they're like, "Who's that?" Well, it's Anakin Skywalker. That's not Anakin Skywalker. That's like an old guy. No, it is. Trust me, it is. It is. It's a
right. It's totally believable that like a 6-year-old right now would see Star Wars for the first time on Disney Plus, and you'd go to that 6-year-old and go, "This weird smiling old man with well-groomed hair." This guy who looks like he maybe sells insurance with your dad. This guy is Anakin Skywalker.
He's got a bowl of Werther's original candies next to him in the cave, and he's ready to.
Exactly. So that is my share today.
Who he is. Meanwhile, your brother's going, "Your uncle's a crazy old fool. Don't listen to him."
Exactly. So he makes me very happy to share. And now he disappears back into the Force.
That is great. All right, Mike, we're here. We're ready for the main event. What is your number one share from the Mike Black collection?
It's my number one share, mostly because I just got it and I was so impressed with the design of it and everything. Yeah. And I use the corridor as a background just because it's the only Hoth thing I have. Right. But it is the new Imperial probe droid.
Oh yeah, and it's big. It's bulky. This is a bulky. You know, I mean that in a good toy. It captures it.
It comes with a stand that kind of makes it look like it's floating. It has a clear thing leading up to it, and you can kind of mask it with the legs. And it's just a really impressive looking thing. I wasn't expecting a lot when I got it, and when I saw it, I was like, "Holy crap, this is great! This really came out wonderful." All the legs are articulated; they all move. You know, you can. If I don't destroy him,
we love our articulation.
All of them. You know,
it's great. I mean, just seeing it here.
The details on it, it's hard to.
Yeah, it captures the Probot, dare I say, in all its glory.
Yeah. I didn't know how much glory it had until I got this. You know? But yeah, they even put like carbon scoring and weathering on it and everything. It's really an impressive piece. I was really, I was worried I was going to have buyer's remorse when I ordered it. But when I got it in hand, I was like, this thing is terrific. And I went to Target yesterday to do grocery shopping, and I saw 2 of them on the shelves there. So they are available if people are looking for them.
And you yelled, "This is an essential item," as you ran out of the store.
Yes. You have to have this for your survival.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a symbol of you in a good way. Of you are a probe reaching out into the galaxy, finding Star Wars toys wherever they are.
Yes. Before Chewie can shoot them.
What a testament to just the design of the Probot and how great it is, and exactly what you're saying, Mike. You're like, I don't know, do I need the Probot? Do I need? And then you get it, and it just makes your collection that much better. And it's part of the universe. It's so great.
Yeah, I was so happy with how it turned out and everything, you know, and just the display option to it. You know, that they really took the time to they could have just given you the robot and let you just make it float with your hand or whatever, but that they they gave you an actual display stand to work with makes a big difference.
Have they released in the Black Series line the snow covered Chewie so you can fully act out?
No, not yet.
I would love that.
I'm
underrated.
Sure they'll get around to it.
Yeah, I really think that's an underrated Chewie of just the covered in snow. Decoy Chewie, Probot decoy Chewie.
Well, and now he's been in 2 movies covered in snow, so you know the odds are getting better.
Yeah. But on Hoth, he really put his face in the snow. He did something. He ate something.
Yeah, he really got into it there.
Or he's hiding behind the little bump in the mountain there. And he's like, let me taste some of this stuff. I'm kind of hungry.
Or you never know. Hasbro might just release the snow as a figure.
Right.
You know, and you can just cover it in Chewie on your own. You know?
That's great. Mike, those are great shares. We're not done. I'm sure we'll bring you back on the show many times because you have quite the collection. But yeah, Joseph is right. Figures, the actual classic toys. When we think of you, we think of that's what we want to share from our own collections because you're just you're so well versed in that. You and I hadn't talked for a bit, and I reached out to you about the show. You know, life just goes, and within an immediate, you're like, hey, have you seen this? They're releasing this. You are the treasure trove of figure information, and I love it and appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It's been terrific.
Absolutely.
A lot of fun. Where can they find you and follow you online and all those good things? We want people to follow you along.
All social media at Mike Black Attack. Make it real easy.
That is branding and the best. Joseph, they can follow you and your thoughts on Old Man Anakin.
Yeah, my Old Man Anakin only account on Twitter and Instagram is at Joseph Scrimshaw. From now on, just thoughts on Old Man Anakin. And then you can follow all of my blogs about Old Man Anakin on my website at josephscrimshaw.com.
Absolutely do that. You can follow me at Cat Napzok. And hey, thank you for everyone who's followed ForceCenter over here to YouTube. We get asked a lot. You can do more on YouTube. If we're concentrating on this show and some of the other shows, the in memoriams and some of the encore presentations, as we start to build up and the need arises, we'll obviously do more stuff on here. We love being here. We love you seeing our faces and not just hearing our voices. It's been a lot of fun. But subscribe, follow, ring the bell, all those things you're supposed to do as a YouTuber that we're not the best at all the time. So please do that. Follow us at ForceCenter Pod. Use the hashtag ForceCenter. And please, if you have your own collection you want to share, a lot of you have been doing that. Tag us on Twitter with the hashtag ForceCenter. And we'll be able to find it and continue this conversation with you all. Mike, thanks again. We'll see you soon. We appreciate you sharing. It's Star Wars Show and Tell here on ForceCenter.